The central idea of The Substance is a very frequently mined one in terms of anthology horror, from Tales from the Crypt's Only Sin Deep to Cabinet of Curiosity's The Outside. So I was very curious what unique take writer-director Coralie Fargeau would have for this kind of material, especially with what seemed at first to be a pretty bloated runtime. Turns out Fargeau has a number of interesting elements infused with the classic story of beauty and, by association, fame lost to time. Combine that with some incredible performances, and you have a recipe for a strong and unforgettable horror outing. So happy birthday, Elizabeth Sparkle. This fading actress and fitness star is looking for a way back to fame when she's offered a mysterious drug called The Substance, which duplicates a younger, better version of herself. She's given a number of rules to follow to keep the process running smoothly, but she quickly learns that her double, Sue, doesn't really want to share the spotlight or time with Elizabeth. It becomes clear from the first moment of The Substance that we're in for something truly special here. The first frames of the film showcase some of the best visual storytelling in recent memory, introducing The Substance and then offering up a great static shot introduction to Elizabeth Sparkle through the use of her Hollywood Walk of Fame star. This single shot on its own is a great short film that gives us everything we need as an audience to understand Elizabeth's character and her eventual choices. Now, as the story progresses, The Substance becomes a bit of a be careful what you wish for tale about fame addiction. As viewers, we can see Elizabeth's shortcomings lie with her perception of herself and her selected profession's seedier elements, and Fargeau's screenplay gives her plenty of rules to break, like a psychosexual take on Gremlins. And Elizabeth quickly learns the consequences of breaking these rules, but the question is whether or not she has the personal strength to stop the process. While we know what she needs to do, we also cannot blame her for the choices she makes in pursuit of societal purpose. Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are both terrific, playing what feels like opposite ends of Elizabeth's personalities, while still feeling like distinctly linked versions of the same character. There are moments where cinematographer Benjamin Kraken gets up close to both actresses' faces, spotlighting the eyes and brows and showcasing similarities in their visual performances that convinced me I was looking at the same person. And I think Moore in particular has a great sequence where, upon seeing the other version of herself enjoying success, goes on a date with an old school friend before realizing she cannot leave her apartment looking the way she does, with all these little imperfections. And I completely connected with her over-analyzing self-deprecation. And Dennis Quaid is also a standout secondary performance as network boss Harvey, named very much after another slimy producer in Hollywood you may have heard of. Quaid, who replaced the originally cast Ray Liotta, who passed away before filming his scenes, brings something so disgusting to his limited screen time, taking every moment to unnerve Elizabeth, Sue, and me while on screen. His perfect line reading, like lines like, "Pretty girls should always smile," while surrounded by old, white male shareholders, and smarmy facial performances make for one of the best roles he's done in years. Now, The Substance left me with a few questions about the rules of the procedure, though it was still more sensible than the aforementioned Gremlins. But Fargeau cleverly doesn't spend too much time over-explaining and instead uses her storytelling device to further develop both aspects of Elizabeth. And what she accomplishes more than makes up for a few clunkier moments in the second act. All of this culminates in one of the most shocking conclusions to a horror film that I can recall recently. I realized during the ending that my expression had frozen from the shock and surprise of what was taking place on screen. My jaw was literally hanging open, and I doubt you'll forget what you saw in The Substance. It's one of the best films of the year, and I just can't wait for you to see it. I give The Substance 4 out of 5, and you can find a full written version of this review over at goatfilmreviews.com. You can also follow Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. And you can find my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Polodchuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes of that show every single week. We did an episode of The Substance that you can find over on that channel. There's also a link in the description of this video for the Minnesota Film Critics Alliance, of which I am a member. You can find critics' reviews of The Substance, as well as more of my own stuff, over on that page. Thank you so much for joining me for this video review of The Substance. Leave your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear about them, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.